croissants. Croissants, Ken.
Yes, croissants. You will not find them at a Chinese banquet. Because they are a thing of French beauty. N'est-ce pas? You know croissants, those crescent-shaped breads, brown on the outside, made of many layers of pastry and lots of butter. Now you can buy them these days in good bakeries. You can even get some really nice ones at Whole Foods. But there was a time when I got it in my head that I was going to bake croissants myself. A do-it-yourself kind of project, even though I had never baked anything else before. You probably had do-it-yourself projects like that too. But I was smart enough to sign up for a French baking class, taught by a typical French woman cook, you know, with the little blonde bob and apron, and very neat apron, very slim with the French accent. And she taught us over the course of 4 weeks, an hour each week, how to make French brioche. Brioche is a loaf of bread with an egg-based batter and croissants. But because we had only 1 hour each week, we never actually baked the whole thing. We did a little, you know, we did a part. We learned how to make the dough. We learned how to fold the dough, cut the butter, put the butter in, make the layers. But I never actually baked the croissants. That turned out to be the homework we were to do after we graduated from class. So after the 4 weeks were up, we were given the recipe, and we were told, now remember, it takes 8 hours to get good croissants, because it's time spent for the dough to rise, the dough to be beaten down, to put new dough in, new butter, the whole thing. Little did I learn when I went home to begin my 8 hours of cooking that I was going to learn a lesson far deeper than how to cook croissants. A lesson that said, leave the baking to bakers. But it was even deeper than that, and you'll hear about that in a minute. I set aside a Saturday, 8 hours on a Saturday, started at 8 o'clock in the morning, after the day before I had bought all the ingredients. 8 o'clock in the morning, took out all the ingredients, all the flour, mixed it all up, looked at this mass of stuff, and then read the directions a little closely and realized she had given us the recipe for the whole class. For 12 people in the class, 4 croissants a person, and we were supposed to divide by 12. And I had bought ingredients for 12 people, 48 croissants. What the hell, you know, this is the experience. So I began the baking, you know, the rolling the dough and the beating the dough down and letting it rise and sitting around and waiting and cutting the butter. And by 3 o'clock, it was time to put my 48 croissants in the oven. I got them in there, you know, the layers and all the baking pans. And I took them out at the appointed time, and I had 48 beautiful croissants. Well, not quite croissants. Some of them were indeed crescent-shaped. Some of them were logs. Some of them were turds. But I had 48 baked things, and they smell good. You know, most of them were croissants, right? I called my neighbor up, Nina. Now, some of you have heard about Nina before. Nina was a young German, dark hair, very outspoken, a little plump because she liked to eat. So I said, Nina, you got to come over and help me with these croissants. I have 48 wonderful croissants I just baked. She came over, took a look at those 48 croissants, and got to business. She knocked off 6. I knocked off 6 of these buttery things, and we sat there. Oh, man. And they were good, but that's kind of heavy. At that point, Nina turned to me and said something that was profound. She said, next time you invite me over for croissants, Ken, and you want to enjoy my company, go to the bakery, buy 1 croissant for you, 1 for me. Leave the baking to the bakers. And what she was really saying was, if you want to enjoy my company, don't create a mess with 48 croissants and things we have to take care of in the kitchen. Just leave the baking to the baker. Now this was profound, because I realized, wait a minute, that means if I want to enjoy a nice sunny day driving around in my car, I should leave the car repairs to mechanics. If I want to wear nice clothes, maybe I should leave the washing and the ironing to the dry cleaners. That's called, what is that called in business school?
Outsourcing.
Outsourcing, delegation, outsourcing, yes. I learned a profound lesson. Nina told me, leave the baking to bakers so you can enjoy the time with her. Now I know some of you are do-it-yourselfers, and you're thinking, no, I like to do this stuff myself. Well, if you want to spend 8 hours on a Saturday, pounding, batter down, like cutting butter and doing that kind of thing, and then having 48 of these little oddities, you're welcome to do it. Or you could leave the baking to bakers, and then have the time to do the things that you can't delegate, like giving stories about croissants.